this is the third part, right, of my take on this and how to break this down. Is this the third thing, which is the most important? Is this if all right, if you as a man don't have your stuff together, if you as a man are feeling a little bit insecure about where you stand in your woman's life or man or whatever, if you are insecure and you ain't got your house in order, do not send your woman to an Usher Raymond concert. Don't send her. If you can't handle it, no pun intended, if you can't handle it, do not send your baby, the apple of your eye, to an Usher Raymond concert. Hey, what's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Couch with Rob Fields. I'm your host, Rob Fields, and today is a good day because we're finally back from taking a little break. We had to take a little break for some very important stuff, and I'll be honest with you, I've been under a rock for this last month. Preparing for the big um, event that took place in our lives, which was my wife and I bringing in our third child, a beautiful baby boy. Yes, we have another child in the house. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an adventure. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to talk about that part of our adventure. And we're also going to get into some current topics, some current events, some hot topics that's been popping off. But we're going to start here. So my wife and I we've just welcomed our third kid into the house, our second son, and we were very excited for him to come. The kids were very excited to come for him to come, and I must say this time has definitely been different from the others because of the amount of emotional management that has to be administered throughout each day. So it's one thing for our daughter, right? She's experienced this before. She's been through the process. She knows how it feels when another baby comes into the situation. But for our son, this is his first time. And for a 3 year old, I think he's doing pretty well, but it's tough on him. Seeing mommy and daddy kind of share, the love, and we have to spread it around. Of course, little man, he doesn't know what the heck is going on. He's focused on poop, puke, food, and boob. All right, those are the things that he needs in his life, and of course, sleep. So he's not really tripping on the other stuff. Um, but our current, yeah, our two oldest ones, they're struggling a little bit. But what I love to see is that they're really hugging up on him and kissing on him, and I think they want him to be up and moving, at least for right now. Because once he starts moving, it's going to be a whole different game. I mean, the ball game is going to switch up definitely. So yeah, so baby boy, he's healthy. My wife is healthy, which is definitely the most important thing. Let me go into this a little bit. So for us men, we like to think that we have an understanding of what it means for a woman to carry our seed, but I don't think we really get it. I mean, we can try as hard as we, humanly possible to understand what's going on, but we can't understand. I mean, my wife went through this process. Of course, it's the third time, but she went through this process and she didn't complain one time. Of course, she let me know how she felt. How she felt internally. She was very transparent about her mental state, and just kind of seeing her kind of tough this one out was remarkable. I think about LeBron James kind of trooping through the finals and averaging triple double after triple double and leading, the team to a championship. Of course, it's a team effort, right? But we're watching one individual carry the team to victory. I liken my wife's mental preparation, her physical trials, just battling against herself. I like to liken that as, similar to LeBron carrying the team to the finals, into a championship. Of course, 100 times that. She gained weight, back hurting, feet hurting, ankles hurting. Uh, she had to change her diet substantially for the health of the baby and herself. She had to go on this crazy diet. She had some asshole doctors, or a doctor, who really made her feel small, and put all of these weird fears inside of her head. And then she gets to the table when it's time to deliver the baby, and I mean, we're sitting there making jokes and laughing and stuff while they're just yanking at her body to get little man out. I'm so proud of her, man. I'm proud to be in this game of life with her. We talk about, leading the team to a championship. She's the captain. For me, I know my role. I'm a captain in my own right, but seeing her go through this process with our children, it makes me very proud to say that I have her on my team. So when I talk about taking a break from the podcast, it's not only because I went through a little writer's block, right? I felt like I ran out of ideas, but I took a break also to be there for my teammate. I took a break to be there for my partner. I didn't even really open my laptop in the last 3 weeks. I've been checking emails sparingly. I really locked myself off from the world, and I'm happy that I got to do that, because everything is put into perspective, and I can give my full, unadulterated. I saw that word up, but I can give my everything to the kids. I can give my everything to the wife, and then yeah, I don't have to really press myself, and I don't feel bad about it. So I told you guys, all right. I told you that we would talk about some trending topics, and since we're on having babies, actress Keke Palmer, who's on fire right now. I feel like she's in the prime of her career. Keke Palmer was seen on video at an Usher concert being serenaded by the R&B legend, the pop legend, Usher Raymond. Usher brought Keke up on the stage. Usher sang to Keke. Keke had on this sizzling dress, and her boyfriend was at the crib and he couldn't take it. He saw those cheeks hanging out that dress and he just couldn't believe it. So the boyfriend got angry and went to Twitter to bash the mother of their new little baby boy. All right. So I'm gonna break this down in three parts. All right. I'm gonna break this down into three parts. The first part that I'm gonna go into in regards to my feelings on that situation is this: the physical part, right? So I don't know Keke Palmer personally, but I have a wife and we have children. So this is the physical part of it. So when a woman has these babies, just like I said, swollen feet, body puffs up, face gets swollen, hair starts to fall out depending on who you are. Their skin dries out. For some women, because of the hormone imbalance, they get bumps all over their face. Um, for some women, I don't know, body odor. It's a list of things that you can go into, but women go through a physical undertaking that for most males we couldn't even process or fathom, right? Also, on the physical scale, on the physical spectrum, just imagine, what these women go through actually having the baby and bringing that baby into the world. So it's not as easy as it seems for us Neanderthals of men. We think it's just they lay down, boom, baby pops out. No. For the women that have babies naturally, they pass that baby through their vaginas. And I can't speak for other men, but the thought of passing human life through a hole in my body is crazy. I don't even like to have hard stools, okay? That's why I keep fiber in my diet because I don't want nothing hard coming out of that area. You feel me? So the women that have natural birth, they're passing a life, a whole baby, bones, organs, everything through their vaginas, okay? They're being stretched out. And for us men, we don't think about this stuff, right? For the women that go through cesarean births, right? These doctors and nurses, these doctors, right? They're opening up the woman's stomach. They're moving the organs to the side and they are pulling this baby out of the woman's body. This is what's happening during childbirth. And for us men, we tend to forget this when we're living our lives, when we see our woman go out and do this and do that. And then they have to put everything back together. They sew the woman up, and then life goes on. So right now, I know a woman close to me, a beautiful woman, who has no ab muscles right now. And I try to be there at every stop to help her pick up groceries. And, when she gets out of bed, I try to rub her back because she's picking up little man and feeding him that liquid gold. I'm trying to be there to support her, but I can't imagine what that would feel like if I didn't have any ab muscles. It all feels like mush in that area. So let's go back to the topic. Keke Palmer goes to this Usher show, and let's paint a picture, right? Let's try to paint a picture. Let's try to make it real for everyone. So I don't know Keke, but I can imagine a night went like this. Her and her team, her homies, they said, "Yo, we going to the Usher concert." I don't know if she was in Paris. I don't know if she was in Vegas. I don't know. But Keke, she probably picks out 5, 6 dresses, right? They get on the plane. They go to where they go. They get to the hotel, get to the suite. Girls is chilling. They having fun. Couple drinky drinks rolling around. Go out and get a nice dinner. Everything is looking. They getting prepared. Pre-gaming, and then Keke pulls out those 5 dresses and she tries on all 5 of them, right? And maybe those first 4, she's saying to herself, "I'm just not feeling it." Ugh. Mind you, now she just had a baby, so I don't know which type of delivery that she had, but she just had a baby. She just went through this physical undertaking that no man can imagine. Keke just did this. And then she goes into her bag and she finds that black dress and she puts it on. And Keke says to herself, "Baby, this the one. Girl, you go kill her with this one. You gonna kill him, baby. This is the one." So Keke lays that dress out and she goes and dolls up, makeup, smell good. She puts the dress on. All of her friends, "Girl, oh, you killing it, girl." Whoop, whoop, whoop. They go to the show. They get seats right at the front where Usher's gonna be. And Usher's up there singing, "Caught up." Usher's up there doing his thing. And he sees Keke. And he brings Keke up and he sings to Keke and then he turns Keke around and you can see them cheeks. And simultaneously, someone's recording this and it gets onto the internet. And then her boyfriend is home, right? With Lil Man. He old with Lil Man. Watching Coco Melon. And he gets that doggone video. When Usher turned Keke around and looked at her and was like, mm-mm-mm. Her boyfriend lost it. So Keke is having a great time. She's feeling beautiful. She's having an amazing time. Uh, Usher is showing appreciation to her. Her dress is a beautiful dress. She's looking good in it. She's feeling all nice. And at the same time, her boyfriend is going crazy. And again, I wasn't there for the situation, but this is how I could see it play out. When he saw the video, he tried to call her. He calling her, he texting her, but she ain't picking up the phone because she's on stage with Usher. So he's calling her assistant. Where is she? Tell her to call me as soon as she gets back. I can't believe you. You a mom. He could get in touch with it with the apple of his eye. So he goes to Twitter fingering. He gets on Twitter and he's going crazy. Oh, you a mom. You got kids. You shouldn't be wearing stuff like that. Oh my God. He went to Twitter and he's losing his mind. So we're talking about the physical aspect of this, right? Keke went through all that stuff with that baby. She's breastfeeding. She's doing everything that a mom's supposed to do, and she's doing it with love, and she's doing it with no doubt in her mind. She knows that the job needs to be done, and she's doing what she needs to do while being a really good actress, right? And she gets this one moment to feel beautiful, and then boyfriend is losing his mind. So I'm gonna go to the second part. This is the second part about my take on this Keke Palmer situation. So the second part is communication. Let's be real. All right. It was crazy that my man went on to Twitter to air his lady out, especially if they live in the same home. And I mean, you definitely have her number. You could have been a little bit patient, but communication is key. Communication is key for this reason. If you are deciding to go into a partnership with someone, especially um, a long extended partnership with someone, you need to set the parameters very early. Clearly, that wasn't discussed between them. I can imagine, right? Because if it was, then he wouldn't have got on Twitter and had that conversation. He could have just called her. But you, in order for this, in order for relationships to work, you have to set those parameters, and you have to say, okay, baby, this is not something that I like. Even though you look beautiful in it, I would rather be there with you. Or you a mom, you shouldn't be dressed like that. That should be established early, right? It shouldn't have to be done on Twitter. And I mean, for my wife, if she wanted to wear something like that, because we have already had this conversation, I would want to add, I would probably ask her like, so, what's your mental state right now? How are you feeling? Like, do you feel, if you feel like this is something that you need to do, then you got my support. Because it goes back to this point, so it's one thing to have communication, but you also, especially if once you've seen a woman go through this process, you have to give her some grace. You have to give that woman some grace, because maybe on that day she felt the most beautiful, and she was in the most beautiful state that she's been since she became pregnant. That was probably the dress that she needed for that moment, that day, at that point in her life. She had some time away from the baby. She had some time away from boyfriend. She could just relax, be with her friends. That dress was calling her name. So I feel like as a man, I mean, I'm probably a little bit older than a boyfriend, but I feel like as a man, you have to be able to give that woman grace, especially seeing the physical battle that she just went through for 10 months, 9 months, whether it be morning sickness, the weight gain. I mean, borderline diabetic, so you always having to go to the doctor 3 times per week. You getting blood drawn. You going through all of these processes, and then you finally get a chance to feel beautiful as a woman. And then me as a man, I'm gonna come through and kick the buildings down and say, how dare you wear something like that? Well, she dared wearing something like that because that's what she needed at that point in time in her life. At least that's what it seems like from the outside. I don't know anything. I'm just talking. So the communication part is important. The last part of it, this is the third part, right? Of my take on this and how to break this down is this. The third thing, which is the most important, is this. All right, if you as a man don't have your stuff together, if you as a man are feeling a little bit insecure about where you stand in your woman's life or man or whatever, if you are insecure and you ain't got your house in order, do not send your woman to an Usher Raymond concert. Don't send her. If you can't handle it, no pun intended. If you can't handle it, do not send your baby, the apple of your eye, to an Usher Raymond concert. All right? Usher has been singing his way into the hearts of women since 1994 when his first album released. In 1997, My Way came out. And once My Way hit the ears of listeners all around the world, it changed everything. Usher has been doing this since 1994. You can't compete, my brother. And if you one of those guys who your wife just bought that ticket, her and her friends to go to Paris to see Usher, I'm telling you, you can't compete. I can't compete with Usher. Usher is probably 45. He's 40 plus years old. He still has his hairline, right? He's still singing at a really high level. Usher is roller skating across the stage with his chesticles out. All right. Silk shirts, half button up. Dude's teeth are still white. All right. I told you he's still wavy. He still has his hairline. He's skating across that stage doing tricks, serenading to women all up and throughout that building. You don't think lust is in their eyes? You don't think lust is gonna be in your woman's eyes when she goes to that Usher Raymond concert? You better get real, player. All right. So maybe your woman doesn't follow up on it. All right, which is what we all hope. But you can't battle Usher. All right. You can't do it. Not even me. I know my wife loves me, and I know she looks at me like I'm a snack. But Usher's different. All right. Usher's different. You can't compete with Usher. And if you try to compete with Usher, you're gonna be singing in the streets like Tom Dubois of the Boondocks. You and all your homies, y'all gonna be singing in the streets, Let It Burn, because Usher sang to your woman and she melted in his arms. You see, he probably don't even want her. He gonna send her back to her seat, and she gonna be calling you Usher on the FaceTime call. This is how it goes. So, fellas, if you can't handle Usher Raymond, if you can't handle Usher singing to your serenading your lady in that crowd, I suggest you don't let her go to that concert. All right, because clearly Keke's boyfriend, he saw Usher and he lost it. And he's a young cat too. He lost it. He couldn't handle it. It was too much. Oh man. So yeah, those that's my take on it. I try to hit it from three angles. So physical, communication, and keep your baby from Usher Ray. All right. That's a bad man. So before I get out of here, I want to go into this as well. This has also been, I told you, I've been under a rock for the last month. So I've been seeing all this stuff happen, but I haven't had an opportunity to really talk about any of it. Um, so on the sports side of things, right? Uh, two NBA stars who are well known, two young guys, um, Zion Williamson and John Morant. All right, these two are major players in the NBA. They went through some hardships. Ja, has some gun issues. Being a rebel. Zion had problems with another type of pistol. Uh, but So this one really hits close to home because I'm a South Carolina guy, born and raised in South Carolina. I made my chops in South Carolina, and South Carolina is known for football. It's known for American football. We rarely ever get credit for the level of basketball that we play in our state, especially in comparison to the larger states, California, Texas, Florida, um, Washington. Up there in the northwest. There are a number of other states that get a lot of credit for being basketball states, but in South Carolina, we don't really get that credit. So to see two of our own go through these problems really at the same time it hits close to home in a sense. So with Josh's situation, he's online, he's on TikTok, Instagram, he's doing his thing, he's hanging out with his boys. A couple times got caught flashing a gun. Um, they said this last incident was supposed to be a toy gun or a lighter or whatever. Yeah. All right, cool. And then the narrative behind it was in each one of these videos, it was a certain type of music that was being played. So because I love music, I can talk about music in this way in regards to Morant's situation. Um, the music that the young folks are younger cats are listening to right now is no different from what we listened to coming through the '90s and the 2000s, right? So the music was still violent. The music was heard everywhere. It was heard in the streets. It was heard in people's car. It was everywhere, right? But there's a different dynamic to some of the music that we're hearing right now, especially for the young folks. And it's really this. So for me, and I can only speak for me, I was able to decipher the fairy tales from what was real. And there's only a handful of rappers that I felt were actually really about what they were rapping. There's only a handful. And the difference between then and now is that there are far less fairy tales going on right now. Right now, it's the music is just as violent, right? But for us, we couldn't readily obtain the music so easy. So I remember DMX um, had a song on his album "X Is Coming," and on that track, it was a very like vivid tale being told. And I remember my cousin getting that album for the first time, and the first thing that he said to me was, "Yo, DMX is on this album saying this and that." So I was like, "Cool." So I listened to it for the first time, and my mind was blown. It was like, "Dang." Now, mind you, I had to go to my cousin's house to listen to that album. I had to go. I had to move around to listen to it. It wasn't a situation where my cousin could call me and I could go straight to YouTube and get it, right? So accessibility is a part of the music. I think also what we've come to find, and I've been on YouTube watching, some of the videos attached to these rap beefs, and a lot of these rappers aren't big name rappers, but the beef that they're dealing with is a lot different from back then. So right now we have a situation where we have rap songs that are coming out that talk about robberies and murders. And what we've come to find out is the stories being told in these songs are real. This is what we're coming to find out. So the songs are about someone getting taken out, right? And then after someone gets taken out on the street, they go into the studio, they make a song about somebody getting, tapped out or whatever. And then they put the song on TikTok, and the song mocking the person that got laid out is going viral. And there's dances attached to these these people, young people laying in the streets bleeding and all of this stuff. Like these songs are going viral, and the young folks can get them right then and there in seconds. Pull out their phone, go onto TikTok or wherever. Song is readily available. So does the music play a part? in a situation like Jaws, I don't know. Again, this is another individual that I don't know. So what do I know, right? But I can say it helps. Also, for a person like him who has, that type of money and who's under a microscope, I don't know, man. You feel bad for him, but hopefully, hopefully this will be his grace because 25 games suspension is way better than him getting mixed up in some crazy street mess and someone getting hurt. So 25 games, I'd rather see him go through that than to see him on the news for some other stuff. Zion Williamson, another South Carolina native, a kid who's also amassed a great fortune at a very young age. Uh, his pistol is different, right? So he's expecting a new child, and one of the women that he was dealing with, she wasn't very happy about that. So she really just started to air him out something crazy. I'm releasing videos, I'm releasing pictures, tweets. And she's an adult actress. She does adult videos, adult cinema. Zion is a young guy, right? And Zion has, a ton of money, and Zion has a big appetite. And I'm not just talking about jambalaya. He has a big appetite for those pretty women. uh, yeah, for women, he has a great appetite, and Zion got caught in some mess. So for men and women, when I say this, right, when it comes down to who you're dealing with and how you're dealing with them, so don't take this the wrong way. I can't tell people where to put it. I can't tell a woman who could put where with her, and I can't tell a man where to put it. But I can tell you that you have to do some vetting, especially for those who are in the public eye. You have to do some vetting when you're dealing with these people. It's so important that you do the vetting because everyone's not going to have your best interest at heart. When you're making as much money as Zion, I'm talking 8 figures, eventually 9 figures. Um, a lot of the people that he runs into, they just want a piece of the bag because a lot of people feel like people such as them, celebrities and the 2% or whatever, they feel like they hit the lottery. So if you hit the lottery and I can be a part of what you got going on, then I hit the lottery too. I can eat well. I can travel private. My wardrobe is gonna be crazy. My Insta is gonna pop like crazy. My threads is gonna go up. My TikToks are gonna be cooler because I have money. I got access. I got these beautiful views, all that stuff. So for people such as Zion and people such as Ja, I feel like the best thing for them is to be insulated. And I can imagine it's hard, right? So I'm not saying you can't be a one for the people. I'm not saying that you can't be a people person. I'm not saying that you can't shake hands and talk to people in the facility and talk to people around the community. Go get some cookies, go get an ice cream, talk to the people in the businesses. I'm talking about those people that you let into your personal space. So for Zion's situation, it's some women. I told you he has an appetite. So my advice for him, you know, not saying that. I mean, it's a million people trying to give him advice, but my advice for people such as him, and that's men and women, is if you have that responsibility on your plate where you are now taking off and you being in the public eye, you just have to insulate yourself. So there has to be layers to get to you. And if someone gets to you, they have to go through a little bit of they have to go through my uncle. They have to go through a close childhood friend. They have to go through all of these people before they can get to me. Especially when you talk about having children and dealing with women and love or lack of love, whatever. You have to be insulated. And I hope that Zion does get that type of insulation because it's so easy to get caught up in chasing these women. And I can only imagine what it's like to be young and what does the saying say? Young, dumb, and full of. I remember what I used to be like. I don't know what type of person I would be like if I had 90 million in my bank account. So I can't speak to that in regards to Zion, but I can say to him to lessen the load on him, you got to insulate yourself. That's why people like Michael Jordan and LeBron, this is why they can live live their lives the way that they want to live it, because they're insulated. You're not just gonna walk up on LeBron and get an invite to dinner at his house. Are you kidding me? You're not gonna walk up on Mike and you just gonna get on a private jet. What? Heck no. They're insulated. And they're at the top. You think you just walking up on Tom Brady? You think you just walking up on Serena Williams? She, all of these people are insulated, which is the smart way to do it. And for me, I want to be the same way. I want people smarter than me in my orbit, because they'll be my eyes and ears when I can't see. And if you're on a mission to do your job, which is probably what Zion is really trying to do, I mean, they're painting this narrative of him like he's not working out, like he's not really trying to get back on the court, like he's just collecting a check. I really think the kid is working really hard. So if he's working as hard as I think he is, he ain't. I mean, yeah, come on over, baby. I'll move you, New Orleans. I'll pay that 25K a month. God damn. Ooh, she said he was paying her 25K a month. But yeah, I could go deep into that conversation. That's a conversation for another time. But for our young athletes, in this case, Ja and Zion, I really, really, really hope that you guys from this point on insulate yourselves really well and put a lot of really smart people around you. And I'm not just talking about security, because there are some security guards that are really good. I heard Gilbert Arenas talk about Allen Iverson's security guard and how he gave him game on how to navigate as a person of status. So it's not only security, it's also the other people as well. You need insulation, young people. You need insulation for all of my people who just catch fire, maybe popping on YouTube, maybe TikTok popping, influencer popping. For those people who get on, they climb up the ladder and they finally get to a point where they're popular and they're making money. Insulate yourselves, please, 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 please. And I'm putting this information out here for myself too, because while I'm sitting here talking, I might be one step away from exactly where I want to be. So I need to make sure that I'm insulated as well. All right. All right, y'all. So listen, this is my first episode in a while. All right. So I need to get back to working out. All right, get in front of this microphone. You're really just chopping it up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna get it cracking on IG. Again, follow us on Instagram, where you can get all the videos, clips, etc., etc. Continue to follow us on YouTube, and also listen. If you're in the car, if you're taking that ride, just check us out on all audio platforms. Not Stitcher, because I was informed that they're shutting it down. So we're not on Stitcher anymore, but we're all over. All right. Remember, it costs nothing to be good to someone. So be good to someone today. I'm your host, Rob Fields. Watch out for the apple of your eye if you're not ready to send her to that Usher concert. And also for my young ones, my young superstars, insulate yourselves, all right? Insulate yourselves. Listen, we'll be back sooner than later with the next episode. I hope you all are doing well. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.